This is COTA, and this is the new 1,064 horsepower Corvette ZR1. Now around here, Formula One cars have hit a peak speed of 214 miles an hour. How close to that can we get in this new ZR1? Shall we go and find out?
Right, while I go and get some heat into the tyres, let me tell you what else we're going to cover in this film. We're going to talk to the guy who took the ZR1 to 233 miles an hour. We're going to talk about European rivals, and we're going to have a good look under the skin of this ballistic Corvette. But first, let's go and see how fast we can make it go.
Right, here we go though, coming down to turn 11, and then turn 11 to 12 is the main straight. Let's go and see what we can do. Give it a wide berth entry. And then clean exit. Right, full power, here we go. 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. Oh, this is going quite quick. 135, 145. Oh my word, here we go. 160, 170, 173, 175. Wow, and then attack the brakes. Whoa. That is really impressive. Well, 175, I mean, I don't think it's going to go more than a mile an hour too faster than that, and that isn't 214 miles an hour. So, yeah, it's not as quick as a Formula One car around here.
Yes, it turns out Formula One cars are really very fast indeed. And if you want to do massive speed in a ZR1, you need a much longer straight than the 0.63 miles COTA offers. Somewhere like Papenburg in Germany, where a pair of 2.5 mile straights are joined by extreme banked corners. That was where the Corvette hit 233 miles an hour last year, driven by this man, Mark Royce, who just happens to be the company president.
Okay, Mark, this is the car you took to 233 miles an hour. Tell me, what was it like?
Well, I'll tell you, everything happens very fast. And when you're doing it off of a 50-degree bank in Papenburg, and then it's almost like a slingshot. So you got to go into the turn, over 200 miles an hour at 50 degrees, and then you come out of the turn, right?
Yeah.
And then you hammer it into the floor.
Yeah.
All the cars got, and until you run out of room.
And you've got 2.5 miles or so, haven't you, of straight?
Yeah,
to get,
yeah.
And the car completely stock?
Mm-hmm.
Completely stock. So it just doesn't have the ZTK pack, so it doesn't have the big wing on the back.
No, it doesn't. I would say, obviously, the seats we used on it were a high G seat.
Yep.
Because the car is so fast. So it's a little bit beyond what we usually have in our cars, that are lower speed, the lesser Stingrays, if you will. But this car is so capable and so fast that we did a lot of safety stuff on the seats.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And any nervousness on your part about going that fast?
Oh my gosh, I've never gone that fast. So yeah, of course. I mean, we flew in the night before and got out there to learn the track, and we were running 230, which that was impressive. And the car is very stable, but if you look at the data reads on it, because the track isn't perfectly smooth, I'm not sure any track is perfectly smooth, but in any event, you can see the tire skips on some of these. Okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and that's something you can't know until you get to the track and actually know. So, there's a lot of really good, cool engineering stuff going on.
Yeah. And tyres all held together, no worries about that? And did you run it on the Cup 2Rs or the PS4s?
No, the PS4s.
Right.
Yeah, but this car was a low wing, PS4 car that, you can.
Yeah.
That's what I drive every day at work, going to work. I do. I drive this car, and so it's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you did it with a passenger in it.
I did it with a passenger in it,
Yeah.
Rich. Yeah, and a laptop, and But when you get into that top speed area, aero sort of takes over as the overarching influence, and mass is not so much.
Yeah. So have you got any desire to go back and do it again?
I do.
Do you want to get 235, 240?
I don't know. My wife was a little funny with this one, and rightfully so. There's not a. I was honored to be asked to do it by the Corvette team, and let's call it that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Brilliant.
Sure.
Well, well done.
Thank you
well
very
done
much.
For
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. It was highlight, right? Highlight of my life and the development of the car.
So we'll leave Mark to be relieved to have survived 233 miles an hour and go and have a poke about under the skin.
Some quite cool stuff going on in here, isn't there, when you've got a cutaway Corvette and you can go and have a look around it. So let me show you what the big change is from a regular Corvette, or Z06 even, to the ZR1. I'm saying Z. I know for our UK viewers it sounds a bit weird. Should be saying Z, shouldn't I? But anyway, look, regular Corvettes get a frunk. The ZR1 doesn't. It gets an extra cooling pack, because when you've got 1,000 horsepower, you need all the cooling you can get. So it gets a central radiator, and that gives it all sorts of advantages in terms of airflow over the cockpit and the aerodynamics and everything else. Full aluminium tub, no carbon tub in these. All the carbon is sort of trim and accessories on a ZR1. It's all aluminium. Come back here though, more radiators obviously. Look at the size of these tyres and the fact that the Cup 2Rs are as bald as I am. It's ridiculous. How do they make those road legal? And that is how you transfer 1,000 horsepower to the road through the rear wheels. The packaging otherwise is pretty regular. You've got the gearbox back here, engine in front of it, and talking about the engine, we can go over here and have a look at it in a bit more detail. So here we go, the engine on a plinth, where you can probably get in and study all of it. They still reckon this is related to the old small block engine, although one of the engineers said when he started in 1988, the 5.7 litre engine was developing 210 horsepower. Now here is a 5.5 developing over 1,000, because it is the first Corvette ever with a pair of these on it, with turbos on it. And look at the size, they are the biggest turbos ever fitted to a production car, apparently. Also, look at this, how little gap there is from the exhaust manifold into the turbo, okay? There is no gap at all. The engineers say the air is still on fire when it gets into the turbos. The turbos run at 137,000 RPM. The outer tips hit Mach 1.7. They're faster than the speed of sound. I don't know what that means for sort of internals of it, but it's just baffling, isn't it? 90-degree angle V8 back here. And let me show you some cool little bits, okay? Nice little tricks and surprises for you. So there's quite a lot of differences between the LT6 and LT7, and they're called the Gemini engine, so they're like a pair of twins, but also they've stuck on, as a reference to the Gemini rocket program, these little rocket shapes here. And they said there are over 50 of those hidden around the engine. Look, there's more over here. They've laid out on my little presentation table a load of engine components. Here's a piston, and look, there's the little rocket on there, and a conrod, and that's there. Now this shows the difference actually between the two pistons for the Z06 and the ZR1. So this has got a much more dished piston top to help to lower the compression ratio from 12.8 down to 9.8, or somewhere around there, 12 to 10. Also, it gives you an idea of the turbocharger, doesn't it? Which is always good. I love them looking in the machining of all the valve ports and seeing how much they can get into there, and the machining of it. It's just a work of art underneath. I love looking at engines. Look at the crankshaft, the intercooler. This is wicked. Oh, the compression through here are excellent. Bit of a dab of brake here, and then through here, big of a brake here. Change direction here. Oh, we're putting so much G. It's really good, this. I haven't even thought about using the gears manually. The gearbox works really well. And then on the brakes and really lean into them. They are tremendously effective. It doesn't quite have that exact chassis sophistication of the McLarens and Ferraris with their really good chassis electronics, but it needs these tyres to unlock it. It needs the Cup 2Rs. Right, mighty ABS though, look at this. Boom, boom, boom.
So has the Corvette stepped clean beyond the supercar realm and into hypercar territory? No. Despite its prodigious power, it's not actually that much faster than McLaren's 750S or Ferrari's 296. The ZR1 starts at $175,000, about £130,000, and even fully spec'd, you're pushed to add 50 grand to that. At McLaren or Ferrari, that would barely cover your exterior carbon bill. But that power figure is deeply impressive. Using nothing more than a 5.5 litre V8 and a pair of turbos, Corvette has created a very drivable and yet incredibly forceful car. Question then, does the Corvette feel like a genuine 1,000 horsepower car? Well, if you think crossing into 4 figures should deliver a fundamental leap into hypercar performance, then sorry, it's not quite there. The game's moved on. But this engine is still a monster, and the ZR1 has a chassis that can cope with it. Those two facts alone make this the most impressive Corvette there's ever been.